Let's say we have a piece of paper. I'm gonna I'm gonna put what would this be? If I put a thing there, a dot. What do we call that? Do you remember? Yeah, vertex. Okay, vertex, good job. All right, so I'm gonna name it A, B, C, D. I have a line that goes at the top of the paper. Let's pretend. Okay, that would be called line what? That would be called line AB, right? Okay. Now, what if I make another line, goes this way, okay, there we are, and this is line CD. Do you see that? Okay, so we have line AB and line CD. Now, if you notice, what type of lines are these? Are they equally spaced apart? Yes, they are parallel. Okay, now when we have parallel lines like this, we would put a line over the top. So we have A, B, right? And then we would put two lines in the middle like that, and then another line, and then what do you think we put over on this other side? Yeah, that's right, C, D. So what happens here is that this line right here on top is just a symbol, meaning line AB. And this line over here just means line CD. And when you have these lines in the middle like this, those are symbols for parallel lines. AB is parallel to line CD. What is the angle for this guy right here? What's the angle? If you said it's 90 degrees, well done. You are absolutely correct. Good job. So if you ever wonder about an angle that's on a paper, all you really have to do is just put your scratch paper and put the corner of it up to your angle that you're trying to figure out. And that'll help you figure out whether it's bigger than a 90 or less than a 90. If it's less than a 90, it's a cute little angle. And if it's more than 90, it's a obtuse angle, right? Now I'm going to do something a little different, okay? I'm going to make another line going this way. And I'm going to call this line, I'm going to call it Q, and I'm going to call it Q and H. Okay? All right. Now when we have two lines, now do they touch each other? No, they don't. But they do, really. And here's why. Because this line, because it has an arrow, it means it's going on forever. And because this one has an arrow, this means it's going on forever. So even if this line was like way back here, like that, and that line's way up on top, it would still be touching each other, because with the arrow on it like that, it means that it's an infinite. It just keeps going forever. So let me go ahead and remove this. Now, what do we call these? Well, we call these intersecting. Intersecting. Now say it with me. Intersecting lines. Okay? Intersecting lines. Now, for intersecting lines, we have our line symbol over the top. And what's our one on the top? Line AB, right? And we just put the word and in between them. And means intersecting. Okay? And then we have our line, what? QH. So QH. Okay, so what do we have? Well, if we read this, we would read it this way. We would say line AB and line QH.
These should have arrows on them because the symbol that we have right now is a line segment. These should have arrows on both sides, showing that it's a line. Not a line segment, a line.
Put our word intersecting in where the and is. Line AB intersects with line QH. And that's how you read that. Okay? So those are called, say it with me, intersecting lines. Intersecting lines. So far we've had parallel lines. Those are lines that are, they're like railroad tracks. They just keep going and they never touch each other. Then we have intersecting lines. And intersecting lines, they intersect or they touch one another. Okay? Just like an intersection on the road that we drive our cars on, right? It's an intersecting line. They're intersecting. All right, now there's another kind, and I'll do another one. Okay, now if you notice I drew on another piece of paper. Now on this one, we have something a little bit different. Okay, so let's name this. We'll name it A, B, C, and I'm going to put this one on the outside, D. It doesn't really matter where I have them, quite frankly. Now, what's something that grabbed your eye? I hope that you saw it. I hope you saw this box. Remember that? What does that box mean? What? I hope you said it. 90 degrees. Now, when we have two lines, and let's write our lines. Okay, we have A and C, right? This is the AC line, right? Okay, so I'm going to put my line symbol, AC. Okay, and what's my other line? It's called DB, right? Okay, now that I have that, I'm going to put a upside down T in between them. You know what this means? This means, and I'm going to write the word out, it is called perpendicular. Perpendicular. Okay, perpendicular lines. A perpendicular, Perpendicular, perpendicular. This is perpendicular lines. Perpendicular lines mean what? The important thing to remember here is that it's 90 degrees. Okay? And so we're going to use the word perpendicular when we see this symbol. That means perpendicular. So what we would say is line, read it with me, line AC is perpendicular to line DB. Do you see? And so we're saying line AC is perpendicular to line DB. And that's what you have to remember for this one, is that perpendicular means 90 degrees. So they're intersecting lines, but they intersect at 90 degrees. That's called perpendicular. Perpendicular lines, okay? So, what did we learn? We learned what a line is, right? Okay, now what if I had something that, well, you know what? I think I'm going to do this on the next page. Okay, now, if you notice, I put on here a line segment. A line segment doesn't have arrows on it. It means that it's been like cut. It's a piece of the line, okay? And so you have to remember that when you see one that has dots on each end with a line between it, that's called a line. It's called a line segment. Say it with me, line segment. That means a piece of the line, okay? And when we see this, what's this called? It's called a point, or it could be called an end point, or it could be called a vertex, right? If it's on an angle. And if we see a point with an arrow going this way, that's called a ray, right? And what is this called when we have an arrow on each side and we have We can call this AB as well. Doesn't matter. This is called a line. Okay, and this goes on for what? How far does it go? It goes on for infinity on both directions. Okay, and if I put another line going this way, and let's call this line Q and T, QT. Yeah. All right, so that would be called a what? This would be called the intersecting line, wouldn't it? Okay. Now, what if I took another one and I went boom? I called this Z and W. What would I say? Well, I could say that AB is perpendicular to WZ. So this one would be perpendicular, right? Okay, so this one's perpendicular. Why? Because of the 90 degrees, right? And we have our intersecting lines over here. And by the way, ZW is also intersecting with what? TQ.
You can tell we've got this handy chart. If you notice line, the line symbol over the top has arrows over it going in both directions. Don't forget to put the arrows going over in both directions. If it's a line segment, it has no arrows at all as a symbol over it. Point A, we've already talked about. It would be point A, or that'd be an endpoint, or it could be a vertex like we talked about before. We've talked about most of these things, but let me just cover angle with you for a second. Angle would be an angle with a vertex with two rays going out from it. And the two rays, we would measure this inside area right here. And that would be our angle. And that's probably close to a 45-degree angle would be my guess. Okay? We would call it angle, see the angle symbol in front, angle FZQ. Notice the Z is your vertex. That's always in the middle. Or it could be QZF. There again, the vertex is in the middle and your symbol for angle goes before it. Also, when you have a triangle, you're going to use the triangle symbol in front of the letters. Triangle, KTH, or triangle, TKH, or triangle, KHT. Now, in this case right here, what's our vertex? That would be the K. Let's go down to congruent. Let's go down to congruent. Congruent has a symbol of an equal sign with a wavy thing over the top. It means it's, now are these two congruent? Are they the same size? Yes, they are. So we would say angle ABL is congruent to angle CDE, the same size. Now watch this one. I'm going to do something a little different. Are these congruent? Yes, they are. I just copied them and pasted them. But if I take my tool, let's say, and I go like that, are these two congruent? No. Are they similar? Yes. So then we can put a similar sign. Angle ABL is similar to angle DCE. The congruent symbol and the similar. These are similar, but they're not congruent. What if I took this one and I turned it like that? Would this still be congruent? Yes, it would. Why? Because it's the same size. All I did is turn it. So it's still congruent. This is still true. It's congruent, but it's just I flipped it around. So don't let flipping around throw you for congruency. And this is, what is this? This is similar. Not congruent, not the same size, but it's similar. All right, I love math.